Alrighty. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. The title for tonight's teaching, for today's teaching, depending on when you're watching this, is Tent or House. Hi, Tiffany. Glad you could join. Who knows? This one might be a little shorter than some of the other ones, just to let you know. So, we'll see. Um, some of the verses John 14, verses 1 through 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 18. And then 2 Corinthians 5, 1 through 7. Come on. Oh my goodness. Look at all you guys. That is just so. Hey, Bob. Bob and probably Irma. Hello. Good evening, Pastor Fro. Good evening to you, Roach family. Hello, Valerie. Glad you could tune in. Appreciate it. I appreciate you taking some of your day and spending it with us. Thank you. Oh, Steven says from. Oh, see, now that makes a little more sense, man. So Steven says, good evening, Pastor, from the Roaches. Good evening to you and yours. Oh, well, thank you, Tiffany. You're going to try to stay awake, I promise. I'm missing your teachings. Uh, well, look at that. Hello, Mike. Michael. Sorry, I having a lock in the old noggin. Glad you could tune in, my friend. What a blessing you are to people. A true, real blessing. I'm honored to be able to say I know you. So thanks for tuning in. Come on. All right. So, who knows the story? Mike, Michael, Mikey, don't matter. Come on, man. All right. Fair enough. From my standpoint, people call me Todd or Scott. I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. Pastor O. Pastor Todd O. To differentiate between some of the other Pastor Todds that are available. But anyway, come on. Look at that. There's Cody gets to be chiming in as well. Thank you for tuning in. Give you a big ol' hug, Cody. Come on. Michael says POF of the FF the UFFU. I love it. PO apostrophe F of the UFFU. Whoa. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm gonna love that one too because that's just nothing short of awesome. So, uh, Dee's in here somewhere. Was she the first one to say something? No, I don't think she was. Tiffany was the first. Dee hasn't chimed in yet. She said she was going to be here. Oh, well, thank you for bringing that back up, Cody. We are going to get back to the three pigs. Um, but so Dee's in here somewhere, and uh, Renee is going to be watching this either later today or tomorrow. Oh, see, there's D right there as I say something. And so the story of the three pigs, the three little pigs, whatever, however it is. So I'm talking to some clients of mine, um, and they connected a tent or a house with the story of the three little pigs. You've got the one that makes the house out of straw. The big bad wolf blows it down. The next one builds it out of sticks, still blows it down. But then you've got the house that was built out of brick. That lasts through the storm. That doesn't fall. And so I thought, well, that's just awesome because I did not connect that. And so, D, if you missed it, I said hello to you as well before I seen you chime in. So thank you for saying hello. Man, I like P O apostrophe F of the UFFU. I love it. I love it. Um, so we've got tent or house. Any of the structures, like in the story of the three little pigs that build the house, um, the only ones that last for any amount of time are ones that are um, have that strong structure, have that built with the rock, built with stone. You think about the Great Pyramids or any of the other pyramids, stone. You think of the best tents, what the material is, um, how well that they're constructed today, and yet if they're left outside because they're built to be a shelter from the storm, but only a temporary shelter. And my clients that I was talking to that referenced this being part of the three little pigs, that connected with them, it said there's people that live in cardboard boxes. That is their home. And I said, absolutely, I agree. Even if that is their home for their whole life, they're not able to keep the same box because the box is a temporary structure. Even if you go and get a new box, it's only going to last you for a certain period of time. Whereas in a home has a much longer time period that it's going to last you. So now we look at this and we say, all right, well, Todd, what does this have to do with Christianity? Great question. Are you living using, thinking, believing, we'll just say living life like, or as Christianity is a tent? So this Christianity life is just a temporary life. That this actual life that we're living, this life that I'm living in the flesh, I need to make sure that that life is the important one. That's the one that I need to make sure is the one, because that's the one that's going to be around the longest. Well, hello, Kevin and Shelley. Blessings and salutations. Thank you for tuning in, spending some of your precious time with all of us. So if you look at your life, come on, man. When you, the things that you did today, can you look at them and say, I treated my Christian walk like it's my house built out of stone that is going to be with me always? Or did you treat your worldly life, your life in the flesh, more like that is the one that you need to put more emphasis on, that you need to I'll say care more about, because that's the one that you're going to have for longer, and that the Christian part of you is just more of a overlap. It's more of the tarp that gets put over your roof to be able to signify that that's who you are. You know, for some of you, that's much more of the picture that I see is you have your structure, your life is your house, and your Christianity is the tarp that you put over your roof. Hopefully, as we walk through this, hopefully you will see your life in a little different light. So we'll see if maybe this one's going to be short, because for those of you that get the verses, this bad boy is one page. There's not even anything on the back side. This is just front side, and it's not even real tiny font. All right, D says, explain more, please. In your walk, in your life, in your day-to-day experiences, how you receive life and how you are giving out life, is the foundation for that much more based on worldly aspects? Is it much more based on the things that you see rather than the things that are not seen? And then you take that life and you throw a tarp over it that says, oh, no, I'm a Christian. Because that's your tarp. That's your temporary dwelling. Even though you go, nope, I'm going to go to heaven. I've got my pass. The fire sale. I have that. But the life that I live here is really my foundation. And then I use Christianity more like the tent, more like the temporary, not the permanent. Hopefully that explained it better for you, D. Because I think if people were honest, that's how you live. You say, well, how, Todd, I'm not understanding because that's how you should live. Let's just look at the first verse, the first three verses that I have in here. So if we grab our Bible, flip it open to John. Oh, too far. There's John. Where are we at? John chapter 14, verse 13. Really? Is that where we're going? Oh, no, not verse 13. It's verses 1 through 3. Wow. Do not let your heart be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you. For I go to prepare a place for you. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And so if we back way up on that first, it says believe in God. And that believe in God can also be read, you believe in God, and then believe also in me. So that first verse is, do not let your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Okay. So now, Jesus says, in my Father's house. Now, is he talking about this structure that is more of like a tent that is temporary? No. This is a permanent dwelling place. This thing is something that is built to last. So now, when we go back and we go back to what I was just talking about, the life that you are living right now. Are you understanding it? If you're living it as of the world, that's just a temporary place. That it is just the tent. Because it's temporary, it will not last. Just like the most expensive, best, highest quality tent that you can buy today. Whether it's for the family that goes out camping at wherever, or the serious outdoorsman that buys the thick canvas that they're going up in the mountains doing some serious camping. Those are still tents, and they will not last. They're made, the creation of them is to be temporary, not permanent. Are you living your life like you're living in a tent, or is the life that you're living, the body that you're living in, part of my Father's house. You see that difference? I mean, if you look at your life and go, wait a minute, wait, hold on a minute here now. So Todd, are you telling me that I could be living this life right now in this body, but experience life like I was living in my permanent place? Yes, I am. You say, well, I hope not, Todd. Don't say yes to that. I heard you. You're like, please, Lord, don't let it be so, because I don't want this body forever. I want a better one, because this one's falling apart. A wheel fell off. You know what I'm talking to. Be more. Well, we're not going to go there. All right. Jesus says, I go and prepare a place for you. And then after, he says, now understand that I'm going to prepare a place for you, and then I'm going to come again to receive you to myself. So that where I am, there you may be also. We don't have to go find it. We don't have to try putting it into our GPS. If you put in your GPS, all right, go to my Father's house. Where's it going to take you? Probably to the wrong place. Almost guarantee it. So what is he talking about? What am I talking about? Tent or house? Temporary dwelling? Tent. House? Permanent dwelling. How are you living life? Keep in mind John 14, 1 through 3. The end of it, Jesus says, I will be back to get you, so you don't have to wonder, how do you get there? Because I'm telling you right now, you're not doing it. You cannot get there without me. It's okay. I will find you where you are. That's how good he is. All right, let's move on. Hopefully this is disrupting some brain activity for you to go, Todd, I have no idea where you're going with this thing. And yet, I think I kind of do. Okay? That's what I'm kind of thinking that you got going on is, what? What? I sure hope this gets better. Let's just see. So now let's go to 2 Corinthians. Chapter 4, verses 6 through 18. I did just put just verse 18 because 18 is just, that really says it all. But to put it into context, let's start in verse 8, and then maybe we'll read just from 6 through 12. And then we'll chat about that a little bit, and then we'll go on from there. How's that sound? Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses starting in verse 6. For God, who said, light shall shine out of darkness, is the one who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels. Tents. Just think tent. Earthen vessels. Tent. Something temporary. So that the surpassing greatness of the power will be of God and not from ourselves. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not despairing. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. Always carrying about in the body the dying of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus also may be manifested in our body. For we who live are constantly being delivered over to death for Jesus' sake, so that the life of Jesus also may be manifested in our mortal flesh. So death works in us, but life in you. So if I just pause right there, that's verse 12. So we have this treasure is in earthen vessels. We have the dying of Jesus. So now both of those. We have an earthen vessel, and what we know about an earthen vessel is it's not permanent. It's temporary. We have the dying of Jesus. Now, can Jesus die be connected with eternal and everlasting? No. But it can be connected with something that's temporary, something that has a beginning and an end. So are you living your life as somebody that has a beginning and an end, which is a tent? Or are you living your life with the understanding that there is no beginning and there is no end? House. My Father's house. Because then we have in verse 10, right, always carrying about in the body the dying of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our bodies. You see that? We have the dying of Jesus, tent. So the life of Jesus, house. The tent, the dying of Jesus, temporary. Because he was only dead temporarily. Raised from the dead, never to die again. Life of Jesus. Everlasting, permanent, eternal house. Now let's go on verses 13 through 18. But having the same spirit of faith, according to what is written, I believed, therefore I spoke. We also believe, therefore we also speak, knowing that he who raised the Lord Jesus will raise us also with Jesus and present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, so that the grace which is spreading to more and more people may cause the giving of thanks to abound to the glory of God. Therefore, we do not lose heart. But though our outer man is decaying, what does that sound like? Sounds like a tent to me. Though our outer person, though our flesh, though what we can see is decaying. I was taking a look at some pictures from me just 10 years ago. No gray hair. I'm just saying that is not the case now. Okay, where was I at here? It says 16. Therefore, we do not lose heart, but though our outer man is decaying, yet our inner man is being renewed day by day. For momentary light affliction is producing for us an eternal weight of glory far beyond all comparison. Now here's verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. We do not look at the things which are seen. Todd, how goofy is that? Because we're looking at you right now and you can be seen. How can I see you if you can't be seen? How can I see you if I'm not looking at the things that can be seen? Then what in the heck am I looking at? I heard you. Some of you were like, makes my head hurt. So verse 18 again, if we break it down a little bit more, it says, we are not looking at the things that are temporary. As a born-again believer Christian, with our faith and our belief that what Jesus did and who he is, that Jesus is enough. When we accept that as truth, that's what our belief is, that's what our faith is in, that what he did is enough, who he is, which is the Savior of the world. That is enough. So now, when I look at you, I do not look at the things which my natural eye sees. Rossi chimes in. Come on, man. Blessings. Todd, are you burning the midnight oil? Come on. See? Actually, Rossi, this one might be early. I'm going to see if I can be done with this one by the top of the hour. But we'll see, because it is what it is. It'll be the amount of time that it's supposed to be. So, being a born-again believer, the first part of 18 says, we are not looking at the things which the natural eye, which the eye of the flesh, which the eye of the world looks at. That's what that says. While we look not at the things which are seen. We don't. Why not, Todd? How can we not? I heard you. See? That'll freak you out a little bit. You're like, wait a minute. I heard you. The only reason you would see those things is when you are living life with a performance-based foundation for living. that forces you, it mandates that you see what your eye sees, that you look at the things which are seen. That has to happen. Oh, verse 18 says, we look not at the things which are seen. And then it continue on. It says, but here's the thing. We look at the things which are not seen. Like, how can I see something that isn't there? I'm not talking even about the ripples. Because I could throw out there and say, can you see love? Which I might. I think I will. How about that? Can you see love? Yep, Valerie. Valerie says faith. That's it. I cannot see love. I can see the result of love. With my natural eye. This verse is speaking about seeing faith. Seeing the fruit of the Spirit. Looking past what your natural eye sees to seeing what Jesus has done for that person. I would suggest you start by looking in the mirror. You look in the mirror and you see if you can see past what your natural eye sees looking back at you. So now, can you see clean, holy, perfect, beloved? Can you see the finished work of Christ looking back at you? Pure. Yes, D. Pure. Can you see that? Because in order for you to see that, you have to not look at the things which are seen. Because we're not talking about putting makeup on right, doing your hair right, no. Because those are things which are seen. Come on. He says, oh yes, I can see that. See? So then what happens? So you start with looking at yourself in the mirror. And you look to see that which are not seen. See the things that cannot be seen. When you can do that with you, then you expand that to doing that while you're living life. Now in this situation that you're in, instead of looking at the things which are seen, you can not look at the things which are seen and actually see the things which are not seen. You can actually look at that which is not seen. Come on. That's what this verse is talking about. Because that is living in the Spirit. Now, the rest of this verse says, for the things which are seen are temporal. They're temporary. So what are the things that are temporary that we should pay attention to? Nothing. Come on. Yep. Kevin says physical seen versus spiritually seen. Spiritual seen. Yes. We live our life spiritually seeing life, not physically seeing life. The end of the second half of verse 18. For the things which are seen are temporary. They're temporal. Well, we look not at the things which are seen, because the things that are seen are temporal. They're the tent. Going back to what I had first talked about with having the tarp, your Christianity as a tarp over your house. Temporary. Are you using your Christianity seeing the things which are temporary? Is that how you believe Christianity is? Is that how you're living your Christian life? Because then it ends. I'm going to read that again. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Now, how powerful is life if you could look past, beyond, through the things which are seen, and not let the things which are seen affect how you live life? When you do that, because it can be done, absolutely, now you're loving people that you never would have even talked to before. Now you're showing mercy and grace in situations that your natural mind will say, there is no flipping way this should ever be happening. I cannot even understand why this. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You know, got pulled over by a cop one time, and he said, I don't know. I should give you a ticket, but instead I'm just going to give you a warning. He was living life even if he wasn't born again. Because of being in my presence, or because God was like, oh no, we need to give him a break here, so shoom. He said, I don't know. I don't understand why I'm doing this, but here's some mercy and grace. That's living in the Spirit. And that's having the world bow down to your authority. Come on. Dee said, isn't it wonderful? It is. Life is unimaginable for the person who looks at the things that are seen. If you live your life looking at the things that are seen, it is unimaginable to live life and not see, to not look at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. He says, I now know I'm the person that God created me to be. It's wonderful to be in Christ. It is. There is nothing that compares with it. That's where, when you get to what is Christianity, not what religion has made it, but Cut away all of the stuff. What is it? It is a belief that what Jesus did is enough. Period. And then what flows from that? Now my life is I get to look at the things which are not seen. I get to live my life based on seeing things that aren't seen and reacting to that rather than to what my natural eye sees. Because I still see the things, but I get to look past them. I get to look beyond them. I've looked at some people and they're like, Todd, knock it off. Because they know, without understanding, they know I'm looking beyond what the natural eye sees. And when you don't understand it, it freaks you out. For the things which are seen are temporary, they're temporal. But the things which are not seen are eternal. Jesus says back in John 14, in my Father's house are many dwellings. If it were not so, I would have told you. For I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Hey, Jeff, glad you could join. Glad you tuned in. I think I'm getting close to wrapping this thing up. We'll see, but it has only been 47 minutes, but we'll see. So you've got temporary, temporal. The things which are seen are those things that are temporary. Those things that are not seen are those things that are eternal. Temporary, tent. They have a beginning and an end. They will be destroyed. They are not going to last forever. Eternal, everlasting. Things in the spirit. Spiritual eyes. Seeing things that are not seen. So if you kind of run through this, we have the earthen vessel, because we have this treasure in an earthen vessel. All right, well, that's temporary. We're dealing with the death of Jesus, temporary, and we're dealing with the life of Jesus, permanent, eternal, everlasting. We get to spread this grace because when you start seeing things spiritually, the things that are temporary are a whole lot easier to show grace to, because you're like, well, it's just permanent. It's just permanent. No, it's just temporary. I can show more grace to something that is temporary to be able to help them get past it to start living eternally. Living in the spirit versus living in the flesh. Our last chunk of verses. We're in 2 Corinthians 4. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 5. First 7 verses. Again, tent, house. Which one are you living in? I'm telling you, people, I know you're like, Todd, you've already said that we have this glory, this treasure is in a tent. We're already living in a tent. Only because you want to be. Let's see if these next 7 verses back up that statement. So 2 Corinthians 5, verses 1 through 7. For we know that if the earthly tent, which is our house, is torn down, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Now, if I just pause there at the end of 1, this heavens, think in the spirit. We have this eternal house not made with hands in the spirit realm, in the spiritual. For I know that if the earthly tent, my flesh, the thing that the outer man is decaying, this earthen vessel, all of that is temporary. Verse 1, 2 Corinthians 5:1 says, for we know that if this tent, if this earthly body, which is our house, is torn down, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Pack up my tent and follow Jesus. See? Now, remind me of that because there's a verse that just came to mind while we're talking about this. But so we have this. It says, if this one is torn down, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For indeed, in this house, in the earthen one, in the outer man, in this earthly tent, we groan, longing to be clothed with our dwelling from heaven. Inasmuch as we, having put it on, will not be found naked. For indeed, while we are in this tent, earthen, outer man, earthen vessel, we groan, being burdened, because we do not want to be unclothed, but be clothed, so that what is mortal, what is temporary, what is this earthen vessel, this outer man, this earthly tent, will be swallowed up by life, by my Father's house, my dwelling in my Father's house, my inner man, my looking and living, looking past what is seen to see that which is not seen. Okay, now verse 5. Now he who prepared us for this very purpose is God, who gave us the Spirit as a pledge. All right, stop at the end of 5. Was it you? No. It was God. Now he who prepared us for this purpose is God. Come on, Jeff. Yep, John 14. Yep, cover that. John 14, 1 through 3. My Father's house. That's not a tent. That's a mansion. That is built with an everlasting substance, which is the spiritual. The more we see life from the Spirit, the better our life is. Okay, verse 6. Therefore, being always of good courage, and knowing that while we are home in the body, the flesh, the earthly tent, we are absent from the Lord. Now, if I were to say a show of hands, who likes the idea of being absent from the Lord? Some of you are like, I have no idea what are absent from the Lord and the present. I don't get it. When you are seeing the things that are not seen, when you're looking beyond what the eye sees, you're not absent from the Lord. Why? Because verse 7 says, for we walk by faith, not by sight. Like Valerie had said earlier, it's faith. So now that's living in the Spirit. So we've got the tent or the house. Your life today doesn't have to be lived in the tent. Your life today can be lived from our Father's house. It can be lived from the eternal, from the life of Jesus, from the inner person, from the inner man, from this house that's not made with hands, this eternal in the Spirit. You can live that, and you will live that, and you will know that you live that when you live based on 2 Corinthians 4:18. We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. And then 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7 again says, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And Kevin had commented about pack my tent and follow Jesus. There's a verse, I don't have it down because it came to me while we were reading this, going through this. Jesus circumcised, removed our fleshy body from us. He removed our tent so that we can be clothed and not found naked with our eternal house, our eternal dwelling place. Now, do you think that that mindset might help some of you? Thanks a lot, Dee. I am just about wrapping up, so I'm thinking this is going to be done soon. So, good night to you and blessings. So, do you think that with this mindset of being able to live in our eternal house now will help in our belief when we're praying for a sickness, praying for a healing, both in ourselves and in others? Because now, instead of looking at the situation, trying to put duct tape on the tarp to get us through one more season, now our faith says, that's not how this is going to work. It is to be done. There is a correction to be made that there is no longer an issue here because this is our eternal life and this is to last forever, and we are not going to have a leak in our roof forever because this is our Father's house. And if He's made me perfect, my dwelling is also perfect. Living in the Spirit. Do you live your Christianity as a tent or as a house? As a brick and mortar, something that isn't going to wear out? Come on, shall never wear out, Kevin says. That's how we're built to live our Christian life. Now you go, well, Todd, my body, I don't have all of my, I don't have a thumb. You telling me that this body isn't going to have a thumb forever? No, I'm not. I'm saying the fact that the thumb is gone means that this is this earthen vessel, that it is this outer man that is decaying. This is this earthly tent. And when we get to that point of being able to have our faith in such a way that we now live life, not the dying of Jesus, but the life of Jesus, when now we're showing this grace and we're understanding that our inner man is being renewed day by day. And now if our earthly tent is torn down, we know that we have a building from God that isn't missing a thumb. That's what I'm saying. For we walk by faith, not by sight. The things which are seen are temporary. Now, can you give more grace? Can you show more mercy to a situation that you know is temporary? Everybody should be saying yes, because that's how God did it. See? Jeff says yes. See? I can show more grace because you can show more grace because you look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary. Kevin says yes. The things which are seen are temporary. The things which are not seen are eternal. So now when we see the things that are temporary, we can more easily give mercy and grace into that situation because it's temporary, of course. Because I can see eternally what Jesus has done for you is enough. What Jesus has done for me is enough. So now, whatever we're going through is temporary. And it doesn't have to wait until we die. We get to start living this life, this eternal life, now. Because that's what it says. Right? Verse 3. What is it? Inasmuch as we, having put it on, having put what on? To be clothed with our dwelling from heaven. So we put on, see, you guys say, we put on the armor. Yep. And who is the armor? The armor is Jesus. We soak into, we're enveloped in the armor, which is Jesus. Come on. Yep. Yep. See, we don't focus. Jeff said if we focus on the prize at the end of a conflict instead of the conflict, grace wins every time. And we get to focus on the prize at the end because Jesus finished it. So now I get to bring the prize into the beginning, into the middle. Because now I see life. What does it say? I look at the things which are not seen. And live life from that advantage point. You go, Todd, that sounds pretty hard. It's developed. And you start by looking at yourself in the mirror. So you can see, you're going, what? Let's see. Oh, maybe. And what you're looking for are the things that God has said that he has done. Not that you've done, not that you're striving to achieve, but the things that he has done for you. He's made you pure. He's made you holy. He's made you blameless. He's made you beyond reproach. Look that one up. He has made you clean, and whatever God cleans, you should no longer consider dirty. And it's laughable if you think that you can dirty what God has cleaned. It's really sad that the mentality is that we're so powerful that we can overcome the things that God has done for our good. And one of the things that he has done is that he has cleansed us. He has cleansed us from all unrighteousness. So why are you striving to become righteous on your own? My Father's house is from where I live. Then I can see beyond. I can see that which is not seen. I look at that which is not seen. Because we walk by faith, not by sight. So, with that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully, this teaching is a blessing for you and that you can take it and you can apply it to your life right now. Hopefully, I have explained it in a way that makes sense to you and that you can go, yes, I'm going to adopt that as part of my Christian walk. You're welcome, Valerie. Thank you. And then live life from that standpoint. Come on. You're very welcome, Jeff. Because then when somebody else comes at you, come on. Thank you, Kevin and Shelley. And you go, you can take this and you go, well, wait a minute. What you're saying, I don't care what title you have. You can have whatever you put in front of your name, behind your name, whatever. If it goes against this, that whatever you're trying to tell me that I should be doing or being or whatever, that takes glory away from what God has done because God has done this. I haven't. I haven't done any of this. You haven't done anything to warrant getting these things. You get to look beyond. You get to not look at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen because of what Jesus has done. Not because of what you've done. Get over yourself. Because if you don't, you are your stumbling stone that leads to Christ. I don't think you want to be that. All right, everyone. Well, thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, morning, whatever time it is that you get to watch this. Thank you to those people that watch this live. I appreciate that. All the comments, the interaction is always a blessing. For those of you that share these teachings, I thank you for that. Your reactions, what a blessing. You know what? How about we do this again next week? All right, everyone. Thanks. And I'll see you next time. Bye now.